Today's episode of Michigan's Legends and Haunts is sponsored by PodCorn. If you run a podcast and haven't heard about PodCorn, we're here to tell you all about it.
PodCorn is an online marketplace that connects podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities, such as host-read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. The best part about PodCorn is there is no middleman.
Podcasters of all sizes, big and small, can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities.
You never give up any rights to your podcast, and PodCorn is here to support you at every step and ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands.
The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize.
If you're a podcaster, make sure you click the link in the show notes to sign up to PodCorn and start browsing sponsorship opportunities.
Welcome to True Crime Tuesday on Michigan's Legends and Haunts. Today, we're talking about the Flint Serial Slasher.
Welcome. What is that? To Michigan's Legends and Haunts.
All right, Melissa, are you ready to talk about the Flint Serial Slasher?
I sure am.
True Crime Tuesday. I'm gonna try to pronounce this guy's name once and once only, and I'm gonna call him by his first name through the whole episode because I'm not gonna try to say that over and over and over again. But this is a pretty interesting story, actually. So here's the too long didn't listen. However, I do recommend you listening to the whole episode. Elias Wilson, I think. Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, close enough.
I'd say.
Also known as the Flint Serial Slasher, is an Arab-Israeli convicted murderer and a suspect of racially motivated serial killings and stabbings. He is suspected of committing 18 stabbing attacks from May to August of 2010 that resulted in 5 deaths, most of which took place in Genesee County, Michigan, more specifically in and around Flint. So here is Elias's backstory. Elias was born in Israel to a Christian family. In his childhood, he moved to the United States with his family after his mother remarried. He acquired a green card but never gained U.S. citizenship. Now, Elias worked for Piedmont Behavioral Health Center. How ironic. Yeah. A childhood psychiatric facility in Leesburg, Virginia, until 2008. He worked as a mental health technician.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah. So after moving to Michigan, Elias, or Eli, as customers had come to know him, worked as a clerk at Kingwater Market in Beecher, Michigan. Reportedly, he worked there less than a month. On July 29th, Elias was cited for giving alcohol to a minor, at which time his legal address was in Bradenton, Florida. Prior to this, he had lived in Grand Blanc and most recently had lived in a house on Maryland Avenue on Flint's east side. Police and prosecutors agree that between May and August of 2010, Elias would drive around late at night, approach reportedly small-framed men who were walking alone, ask them for directions or for help fixing his vehicle, which was a green Chevy Trailblazer, if you were wondering, and then he would stab them consistently in the chest or stomach. Most of his victims had been African American, and the police in Leesburg theorized that the attacks were racially motivated. Genesee County prosecutors reportedly declined comment on their theories.
I mean, most of them were African American. I think there was only maybe like 1 or 2 that weren't.
Right.
So that makes sense.
So when the majority is a certain class,
Right.
you kind of have to assume that, okay, maybe this is racially motivated.
Well, yeah.
For sure.
Again, though, he was in Flint.
Right.
So
as... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flint.
That's so close.
I know. It is.
When you look at the areas that he was caught stabbing these people, I mean, I'm in those areas like often.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the place that I order prints from and stuff like that is in Flint, right on one of the roads. Yeah, right on one of the roads that he actually stabbed one of these people. So
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, and I believe that one of them was even in Burton or near Burton, which is right next to Flint, but kind of run together. But I mean, I have been I am in Burton pretty often too.
Right.
I mean, it's just down the road. It's just crazy to think like these people are just out and about, doing their thing, and this guy just comes up and stabs her.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It just hits a little different when it's from the area you're from.
Yeah, Well, it hits a little different when you live that close too, or lived that close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I agree. It's weird. So Elias was also suspected of stabbing a personal friend in the face with a screwdriver.
Oh my God.
While visiting his home of Israel in 2010. This is so fucking crazy. Police did not pursue the case because the friend refused to press charges.
Why?
What the fuck? If you reached over this table right now and stabbed me in the face with a screwdriver, I'd be pressing charges.
Really?
Well, I say that now, but probably not. I'm full of shit, okay?
I don't know why I find that so hard to believe.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa, that's okay. I probably deserved it.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Police in Leesburg, Virginia, have also said that Elias is a suspect in an unsolved murder from March of 2009.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, it was on August 4th of 2010 that Genesee County police announced that a series of stabbings from May to August of that year was theorized to be the work of one man and one man only. It was then that police from multiple jurisdictions set up a task force to investigate the attacks. On August 9th, 2010, Leesburg police connected 3 attacks that occurred with a hammer against black men there due to victims' descriptions of their attacker and surveillance footage of the attacks, with the attacker matching Elias's description and vehicle.
This guy's an idiot.
Mm-hmm. He was not tactful at all.
No.
No.
I mean, there are cameras everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He was just going on, common roads, busy, popular roads in Flint. He
wasn't even
asking
trying
to get caught.
Yeah.
Right. He was just impulsive.
Right. The next day, Toledo police claimed that circumstances surrounding the stabbing of a black man there also matched the suspect. So he's on camera everywhere.
Right.
He's got witnesses everywhere. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
He is not even trying not to get caught, which is probably why he only went from May to August.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's still a few months, and he got a bunch of people.
Well, yeah, right.
It's strange that it took him even that long.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a police officer. I don't know how it all works.
We're always questioning the police.
I know.
What the heck?
I know. So sorry. Don't mean to.
Yeah.
So Elias was arrested multiple times throughout the investigation, with the first arrest occurring on August 5th of 2010. That took place in Arlington, Virginia, during a routine traffic stop.
Wow.
Yep. He was taken into police custody because he had a warrant out for his arrest for assault. He was later released on personal bond.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so they just had to find him. That makes sense. They knew who he was. They had to find him.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
On August 11th of 2010, Elias was arrested by U.S. Border Protection officers at the Atlanta International Airport while he was waiting to board a flight headed to Tel Aviv. Yep. 2 days later, on August 13th, Elias opted to waive his right to fight extradition to Michigan. He was flown to Flint on August 26th, 2010, and was placed in the Genesee County Jail. Elias's family hired Lansing-based attorneys Brian Morley and Edouard Zena, I don't know, to represent Elias. He was held in solitary confinement for his safety simply because he was suspected of violent crimes against people of color in a city that is 56% black.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
At his arraignment, the judge ordered he be held without bond even after the prosecutor asked for $10 million bail. And he was denied. Yes.
Well, I mean, he went around slashing people.
Right.
Of course, they're not going to let him out.
No.
I mean, they have too much evidence to just be like, yeah, you'll be fine. You can go.
Right. Right. That's what always gets me about like bail too. Like when murder, like people who have been convicted of murder actually are granted bail. While it's probably some exorbitant amount of money, like $10 million, they're still granted bail. Like they know, they're just like kind of playing with them. They're like, yeah, if you can come up with $10 million, you can get out. But they're never going to come up with the $10 million.
Right.
You know? So we're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of Michigan's Legends and Haunts is sponsored by PodCorn. If you run a podcast and haven't heard about PodCorn, we're here to tell you all about it.
PodCorn is an online marketplace that connects podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities, such as host-read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. The best part about PodCorn is there is no middleman.
Podcasters of all sizes, big and small, can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities.
You never give up any rights to your podcast, and PodCorn is here to support you at every step and ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands.
The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize.
If you're a podcaster, make sure you click the link in the show notes to sign up to PodCorn and start browsing sponsorship opportunities.
And we are back. So we're going to finish up here with the Flint Serial Slasher. So on August 26th, 2010, now this guy was charged with so much shit.
Good.
Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. On August 26, 2010, Elias was charged with one count of assault with the intent to commit murder for an attack that occurred on July 27, 2010. On September 20th, he was charged with 4 additional counts of assault to commit murder. The victims of those attacks were Bill Fisher, attacked on July 19th. Richard Booker, attacked on July 19th. Eitwan Wilson, attacked on August 1st. And Devon Rawls, which did not have a date of his attack. On October 8th, 2010, a grand jury in Ohio indicted and charged Elias with felonious assault in the stabbing of Tony Leno in Toledo. October 21st, 2010, he was charged with murder in the stabbing deaths of Frank Kellybrew and Darwin Marshall of Flint, Michigan. November 4th, 2010, he was charged with 2 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer causing injury and 3 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer after he attempted to punch a deputy and had to be tasered with the help of 4 other officers on October 27th, 2010.
Holy crap, dude.
Uh-huh.
This guy's crazy.
He's nuts.
Oh, the list keeps going.
Oh, the list keeps going. On November 12th, 2010, he was charged with malicious destruction of property for smashing out the windows of a car that belonged to James Augsburger, which was boyfriend to a witness by the name of Lucinda Mann. November 23rd, 2010, he was charged with assault with intent to murder in the stabbing of Antoine Jackson on July 12th, 2010 in Burton, Michigan.
Mm.
Nervous laughter.
Yeah. Burton isn't as, notorious.
No,
as
Burton's known as like a nicer area, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a little more comfortable being in Burton. You know, it doesn't have as bad of a rep, but
right.
It is right next to Flint, though.
It is right next to Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, there are certain parts of Flint, obviously, that are a lot worse off than, the main
right
strip. So I'm not typically in that area. I have been on a motorcycle, which was scary.
Through Flint?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What part?
I don't know. The part with the houses that had boarded up windows.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great area to ride around on an open air vehicle.
Yeah, stopped at a red light, next to a house that was...
Does Flint have the same rules as Detroit? Like, you don't stop for red lights? You just go when you're in the suburbs?
I don't know. I'm not... I don't know.
I don't go to Flint. Last time I was in Flint was 2 years ago, and that was downtown, and I felt fine.
I got lost in Flint. My phone died.
Melissa,
my charger didn't work.
You get lost around the corner from your own house.
Okay. Well, that's exactly why I got lost in Flint, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Directionally challenged.
Yeah, I was lost for a good 45 minutes around Flint. No idea where I was going.
Oh, my God.
I even stopped a couple times because I was like, I need to regroup and try to really focus on where I'm at and which direction I'm going. And, I suck at that. So I just drove around for a while until I found 475.
And you just hopped on and you're like, yeah.
I mean, it's going to take me somewhere I recognize, hopefully.
Eventually, it should.
Right, so I was just okay. I just had Thea with me. I was pregnant with Carter. So
Perfect.
Yeah, it was not a good time. And, I was by myself. So that's scary. That's scary. Legitimately. Yeah. That's not a good place to get lost in.
No.
And, I was probably in pretty much all of the areas that these stabbings occurred. So.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, great.
So now we're going to jump ahead to about 2 years later. And this is the murder trial. So he actually had a murder trial. So during the evidence hearing for the Arnold Miner murder case, the judge ruled that evidence from the other Genesee County attacks could be used in the trial. The trial began on May 8th of 2012. The prosecutors had one key piece of evidence that tied Elias to the stabbings. The key piece of evidence was a drop of Arnold Miner's blood on a pair of pants found in Elias's luggage. On May 15th, prosecutors rested after calling in 50 witnesses, which included other victims and their relatives, several forensic experts, as well as Elias's uncle who helped police capture him.
Nice.
Yep. Yes. On May 17th, Elias's attorneys presented an insanity defense. Of course. Their only expert... Yeah, right. Their only expert witness was a psychiatrist that was hired by his attorneys that diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia and said that he committed the crimes because of, quote, evil spirits, end quote.
Okay. Well, he obviously had the screw loose, right? He's just running around stabbing people.
Right. There's no denying that.
He didn't even really have a motive. He just wanted to kill people or just stab them. I don't even know if he's trying to kill them or not. He just got his jollies off by sticking somebody, but wait.
He got his jollies off by sticking somebody. Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait.
Oh, was good.
Okay. that's that. Okay. Anyways, yeah, he. I mean, he might have been insane. Yeah. I mean, he was.
To some level, he was crazy.
That doesn't mean that he deserved an insanity plea, though. I mean, just lock the guy up.
Right.
He's actually, out of all of the people that he stabbed, I think only a few of them actually died.
5.
Right? Okay.
18 stabbed, 5 died.
Right.
Yep.
Right. I mean, he caused a lot of harm to everyone else, though. There was one guy that, I don't know which guy it was, but I heard him, a recording of him talking about how he stabbed him like all the way up in his chest, like down to his stomach, like his diaphragm, like he had to have open heart surgery and they had to fix literally everything. I mean, he got his organs, like everything. So it wasn't just like he didn't just like stab him. He was like slitting, just cutting like, ugh. I mean, he must have been trying to kill him if he was going that far. And then he just takes off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Crazy. Crazy.
He was crazy.
Yeah.
The psychiatrist was also told by Elias that he attempted suicide in 1997 and was diagnosed as psychotic by an Israeli psychologist in 2009 as well.
Oh, okay. So why was he working in a psychiatric place?
I don't know. That's a really good question, though.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. So the prosecutors were kind of dicks, and they responded to the diagnosis by attacking the psychiatrist's credibility, also noting that his area of expertise was addiction medicine. The next day, the prosecutors refuted the psychiatrist's diagnosis with 2 of their own mental health experts.
Nice.
The 2 psychologists that testified on behalf of the prosecution agreed that while Elias had an unspecified personality disorder and lacked empathy, his attacks were too planned out and organized for them to classify him as legally insane. Yep. And it was on, it's a pretty fair point. He's still crazy, but it's a pretty fair point.
Yeah, I mean, he knew what he was doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was on May 22nd, 2012, after only an hour of deliberating, that the jury found Elias guilty of Arnold Miner's murder, and on June 25th, 2012, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good.
Mm-hmm. And the case was featured on an episode of the investigation discovery show Blood, Lies, and Alibis on July 8th of 2013. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was crazy. Elias Abuelism. Abuelism. I don't know how to say that word. I can't.
I'm only going to say it once.
Yep. He was crazy. I can't imagine hating someone or hating a class of people so much.
Enough to kill them.
Yeah. Or at least
or
attempt to kill
them.
him. He was really kind of an awful serial killer. Like, he was really bad at his job.
Yeah.
Because out of 18, he only killed 5, which thankfully, but like, I just cannot imagine in my brain, like, hating somebody or people, certain people because of a certain like thing, religion, race, whatever it is, so much to just like, I'm going to kill them all.
I just imagine him getting dressed in the morning and like buttoning up his coat and grabbing his knife, like, gotta go to work. His job. What the fuck? Yeah, no, I don't know how anybody could kill anyone, really. I mean,
well, no, anyone at all. Yeah, that's a good point, I guess.
But he specifically sought out for, those people, and that's fucked up. I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But can we talk about the fact that the prosecutors were like, we're going to bring our own mental health experts in? Like, okay, at least like they did bring up a good point, but like, of course, if the prosecutors are bringing their own people in, they're going to be biased.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. That's so,
yeah.
And like, they're going to go in there under oath and say that they're not, that they're going to actually like accurately report their findings, but we all know that that's not how that works.
Yeah, it's okay though, because it worked.
Yeah. It's okay though.
It's okay. They put him away, so whatever. He ain't out there sticking anyone anymore.
Getting his jollies off, sticking them. All right. Well, that is it for the Flint Serial Slasher. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to you joining us on the next episode.